Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa Jones.
And I'm Goldyn Duffy.
And we are the Real Ones. And
we're on a roll already today. Let's go.
We are ready to go. So we're going to jump on live on Facebook. So let's see. Hopefully it'll work today. Last week it was a little crunchy.
Yeah, we're going to create from now, not create from the past.
That's right.
Of course it's going to work today. Today's a great day.
It really is. I feel like the energy has shifted, and there's just so much like loving goodness out there. Oh my God. On the way home from the beach, I was yelling out my window, have a wonderful day. And I said it to like 3 or 4 people, and they were all like, oh, you too, or oh, thank you.
I love that.
That's so much fun. It was just fun.
I had recently posted a little thing from a truck driver. Remember we used to do this to the truck drivers?
Yeah.
And they would talk?
Oh my God.
And just like bringing that back and teaching our kids to do it. And I was thinking how it was like the ultimate feeling of like love and acceptance when you would do that and you would get that answer from the truck drivers. And then to think about the way they're just like rolling along, probably bored, driving forever. And they see people doing this. It's just a connection that is so cool. So that's kind of along the lines of that, but you could do that one to anybody, right?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yeah, because let's see, I'm going to say the real ones and the shift in energy.
Yes.
Woohoo. Okay,
we definitely should facilitate more of that.
Yes.
We'll do a little guided.
I love it. Let me just see here. This is going to come up. We should be live. Hey guys on Facebook. Let's see if it Are we here?
We're here. We made it.
We made it.
We are back to our Monday schedule. Don't know what time, but we'll announce that on Monday.
I was just going to say, we're on our Monday schedule, but time is still kind of, we do have lives. We do have things going on.
And we're feeling good today. Really, really good.
Yes,
we want to share that with all of you, and we want to up-level that in all of you and activate even more of the goodness that we're feeling that's happening on our planet right now, even though it may not look that way.
That's right. Well, we were just talking before we jumped on about how we create, what is the number? 60,000?
60,000, I believe. I mean, it could be more if you're a little crazier, I guess.
Yeah, like me. My mind is double time, so I'm probably doing 120,000 thoughts a day, and that's why I'm just insane. But but literally what happens is when you go to sleep at night, you kind of reset. But then the minute you wake up in the morning, those 60,000 thoughts start chiming in. And then you just start recreating what you created from the past, because that's what you're focused on, right? Yeah. I mean, that's my understanding. And so now, I mean, it's just so fun to wake up and really consciously make a choice about what you're going to think about. This morning, I like woke up and I don't even remember now what it was, but I was definitely churning on something. I'm like, oh, is this the way I want to wake up this morning and start down this road? And it's like, nope. Like change the channel.
For me, it's the middle of the night. It's like whatever is bothering me and concerning me the most, like the second I wake up in the middle of the night, that's where I go. And then I just have to consciously bring myself back to that zero state awareness. I just breathe and I relax and I bring myself back into otherwise it activates and then I'm up half the night. So that's been one way I've worked with that kind of thing.
That is so good.
It's like your mind is ready to just grab that problem and start working on it at 2:00 in the morning or 7:00 in the morning or whatever time you wake up. And if you're not conscious of it, you're going to create from that momentum. And that's why we have cycles in our life. And that's why days turn into, bad days turn into bad months and bad years. And, people right now are saying like 2020 was the worst year ever. And what other crap could happen? It's like we're bracing ourselves for hurricanes and fires and floods and the Armageddon. And it's like, do we really want to continue to tune into that frequency? And the only reason why we're still here, like in this moment right now, where we're still seeing a lot of fear and anxiety is because you're tuned into it. Because I felt this weekend, a couple of days ago, I felt like whatever happened before this pandemic, this illness, whatever was happening before, it's energetically, it's gone. And the only reason why it's still present in people's lives is because they're keeping it alive. And then seeing it, on people's faces is what is the constant reminder, which is a way to keep something active, is to have a constant reminder for all of us. So as we, I think what happened to me is I let go of all the resistance around it recently. because y'all know I've had some problems putting things over my face. And I had some traumatic things come up for me about things over my face that I believe are past life. And I don't do too much work with that. But when it does come up, I do work with it and release it. And now I feel very, very calm about it. I still don't enjoy it, but I'm also not fighting it. The whole time I've had to deal with this math situation, I have been fighting it I just want to crawl out of my skin. So when we let go of resistance, we step into allowing. And I think since that happened, I'm like, it feels gone to me. It feels very much gone. It's not in my awareness. It's not in my thoughts all the time. I'm not focused upon it. So that's the key to reality creation.
Right, I love it
and
so
it's
much.
challenging when we have a world condition that's causing us to focus so much on something we don't want, but it's not impossible.
No, and it's really asking each and every one of us to step up and to create your own reality. And that to me has been the biggest thing I've learned through this whole 2020. I think it's been a blessing. I've loved 2020. I mean, that's it right there. Let's turn it around. Let's turn it around. I've got chills as I say that. Like, let's look at all the growth that we've received this year and how much control we've actually realized we do have in our life, because you get to create every moment what you're going to choose to create. And if you want to create misery and you want to create, fear and go to those low level vibrations, hey, it's right there for you. It's on a platter. Like, you can go down that
it's available to you. And if you're experiencing a lot of it, obviously it's some energies that you need to work through and to process. And our trauma release on therealonez.com is a great place to start releasing that stuff.
Yeah.
So, we have the tools, guys. We have the abilities to work through that stuff.
It's exciting to think about how much growth and opportunity has come from this year, and to see truly, because that's it. Whatever you want to believe, you can go out and find 800 documents to support you, regardless of what it is that you believe. So that's what it's kind of cool. It's like, wow, I get to create it, and then I can go find all backup information to then, go do it. And then the other option, which is I do, is just follow my joy and just live my life and not worry about what's out there, but what's in here and what brings me joy. And I was saying, if you listen to our YouTube channel or our podcast, you will hear at the beginning, on my way home from the beach today, I was just yelling out the window as people walked by. I was like, have a wonderful day. And they literally were like, oh, you too, or, thank you, or, it was hilarious. And I was so just buoyant.
It's like when it's bubbling out of you and you just have to share it with people. And like the effect that we have on others to get them out of their illusion, to just snap them out of that, like those momentous thoughts that are keeping them in misery, it's epic, the ability we have to do that and to make a difference in people that we just see every day or come across. It's pretty fantastic. And it's a power that I don't think we often realize or utilize enough. For sure.
And that's it. Just think about, I might have changed somebody's day for the rest of their day, like, because I shocked them, or I kind of I interrupted them, I woke them up. I'm like, hey, and they the smiles on their faces, these guys, these construction workers, I'm like, hey, have a wonderful day. And this guy's like, oh, thanks. I was like, this is so cool.
Can I have your phone number?
Yeah, no.
Want to make my day.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and you had asked earlier too, what the K is. So when I moved to Maui, I decided to buy the first initials of all my family. So when they come to visit, so I have a sister, Kristen, I have a niece, Kara, and I have another niece, Kaylin. So we've got lots of K's in my family, and my L mug is in my sink. I didn't wash it. So occasionally I use my K mug, but yeah. So if you have any of the initials, you can stay at my house, but you got to have a...
There you go. I don't think you have a G mug. I don't know.
I do, because I got it from my stepdad. They didn't have M for Max, so I had to get G for Grandpa.
All right. Goldyn. I don't mind.
There you go.
Grandpa's mug. I'm not too proud.
Gigi, it's for Gigi. That's what I got the G for.
Yeah, there you go. I got to spend some awesome time with my grandbaby this weekend, and she's going through some stuff. Her dad decided to take away her pacifier. Now her parents are not together. Her dad lives in Arizona, and he decided to take her pacifier away, which was terrible timing over here because my daughter was in the middle of moving. We moved her into an apartment, which is wonderful. It was a great, great space for her. And she had some cool miracles that happened with that. And so her housing situation worked out. But, you know, we're in the middle of a move. This little girl's in so much transition, and now she does not have this. It's so interesting to see what we do with emotions when we numb ourselves to them, when we stick a pacifier in a baby's mouth. Or my youngest daughter always had her thumb, and the emotional trauma that she went through as a teenager, I think because she never really learned how to process emotions. You know, we're just plugging them. We're literally plugging them up when we do that. And I'm not for or against pacifiers or thumbs. I think anything we can do to self-soothe when we're in a situation that we need growth to get to that point is fine. And I personally would not have taken away her pacifier yet. Like, just personally, you know.
Maybe when she's 14, she'll be ready, but not
I
now.
just didn't think it was the best time. I mean, there's no good time to do it. So to see her managing her emotions. So we went swimming on Saturday. I have some really wonderful friends from the gym, and they live in a community with a pool. So we went there, and my friend actually is a swim instructor, so we've been teaching her to swim, and she was just crazy for 3 hours, just like swimming, wouldn't stop. It was almost like manic. Like she was just like, and so finally we had to like literally pull her out of the pool at like 6 o'clock, and she just flips out. And so I put her down in a chair and I try to change her, and she hits me twice. And I just looked at her and I said, "You do not hit Gigi." And I spun the chair around and I just let her have her little tantrum. And my friends looked at me and they said, "You are so patient." I was like, first of all, emotions, I understand, is good. I wish I understood this as a parent. I would have been way better equipped to deal with my children's emotions. And I don't need to engage in her emotions. Like, she just needs to release them and get them out. She's not bad for that. She's not a naughty girl for that. Like, I'm not going to punish her for that. So then once she finished, you know, she ended up cooperating to some point, but all night we were kind of dealing with this, like, I don't want to do this and you're not going to make me do it, and I want my mommy. So I brought her home and I was putting her to bed, and she was just having a fit in the bed, and she was like, "I want mommy to sleep with me." And I just kept saying, "I know, baby, I know, it's okay, it's okay." And like, when we realize that we can do that for people, instead of engaging with them in their anger or their frustration or what they need to release, if we just keep telling them it's okay, I'm here for you now, and mommy will be here, and just keep kind of soothing them towards that.
Well, yeah, holding that space.
Yeah. And she just fell asleep, and I never felt any negative emotion. I never felt like I needed her to stop for any reason. Like, she's going through, like, I just had compassion. God, what a lesson for life and people that we're dealing with, you know, and especially right now, because everyone is so on the edge of their emotional fields, and just everyone's processing a different world. If we can just feel that love and compassion for people, we can change the world. There's no doubt in my mind. And if we can raise our kids this way, you know, wow. Huge.
Yeah. For sure. I know, looking back, you know, when my kids would act out or whatever, I would just clamp it down and be like, you know, no, like, you can't do that. You can't. And just, wow, I wish I could change it all. But
what did our parents always say? "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we feel these, you know, this shame about crying. I mean, my youngest is still shameful when she cries. "I don't know why I'm crying, Mom. I wish I wasn't." And it's like, crying is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good for us to just release those. And even anger, you know, you screamed in the ocean the other day. Like, how cleansing is that to just get that stuff out and release it, and allow each other to do that, give each other the space.
I love it. I truly do believe the emotions, unexpressed emotions, become these kind of like buried time bombs in our body, or grenades, you know, and you never quite know when they're going to go off. I've never been one to be able to express my anger. Like, I was brought up like it's not okay to be angry, and just, you know, just keep shoving it down and stuff. And so now, as I'm getting more and more okay with that, like screaming in the ocean, even though I had a variety of reactions, including, you know, some people that wanted to give me a piece of their mind. I'm like, good Lord, if you can't come out to the ocean and scream, I don't know where you can, you know?
Well, and I think anger gets a bad rap because when I was growing up, you know, the anger that I would see from my dad or from my brother felt very out of control because they would wait until that point of
Right.
explosion. Even my husband, when we first got married, his anger scared the crap out of me. And, you know, over the past 10, 20 years, we've learned for him to manage that and for me to manage that and manage it in our relationship. So we don't have those outbursts anymore because we deal with our stuff as it comes up and we're not trying to bury it, you know, with alcohol or food or drugs or TV or whatever your addiction is. So emotions are so valid and so important. And if we don't deal with them, you know, if we don't deal with the triggers as they come up, they will come up, but they'll just come up in a more explosive manner where you're not going to have any sort of control over them.
For sure. I'm just
Are you
looking
getting
for
anything
us.
on the page?
I know. I was just looking for us on our page here.
Back in the middle of the day.
Let's see. Our group. They changed Facebook again. And so I'm always trying to figure out what's happening right there.
I know. It's one of those things, right?
Oh, there we go. There we are.
Yes.
So I see Thomas liked us.
Take it. Hi, Thomas.
Yeah, I think there's a couple others, but maybe
anybody else on there?
I don't see anyone else right now. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments, obviously be sure to put them in the chat and we will
chime in and we can assist you in any way. We also, you know, we're doing sessions with people if they want to do it through donation base. If you want to do some sort of work in the emotional field and you feel like you need assistance, we offer that just because out of the kindness of our hearts. It's not something we really, I mean, I think the two of us really love to channel. And we've gotten to the point where we don't want to do, you know, work with people at length. We just want to get to the issue and release it.
Well, and transfer the energy. It's just, so,
yeah.
Oh my God, the energy is just so,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So if you're struggling right now, stop struggling, you know, reach out. There's help everywhere. There's assistance everywhere. There's support everywhere. You are not alone. And when you believe that you're alone and you're unsupported, you are just going to create evidence to show that to you. You are just going to feel more and more alone and unsupported. You have to break that momentum of thought and step into, I am loved and supported. I am never alone. I say that on our page all the time. You are never alone. And when I say Lisa and I are here for you, I mean it like in a global perspective. Like we are here. We are here right now, always available, whether we're online or not. There's always ways to connect with us energetically so that you have that feeling of being loved and supported. I think in a world like this, especially right now, especially if you're still hiding in your house, it's really important to feel like you're not alone.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have the divine expression running through you. Like, how could you possibly?
You're never alone. I love it. When I first moved in, so I live in a two-story home and I live on the main floor and then my landlords live upstairs. And when I first moved in and I'd hear their footsteps, oh, you're not alone either. But I would hear their footsteps and I would just be like, at first I was like, oh my gosh, I hear that, you know, I hear noise up there. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to shift that and just be like, oh, I'm not alone. How wonderful. So I just embrace it.
Getting annoyed by it. I should give Kaylee that advice because she just moved into an apartment complex. It's like, you know, condensed living. So I like that idea.
Yeah. That's so good. Instead of getting annoyed by it, just shift what the meaning is behind it. And
I love her being home all the time. She's doing the online school, so she's home all the time, and I'm fine.
That's amazing. It's such, I mean, again, isn't it crazy? I mean, you couldn't have guessed that we are where we're at. Like,
no, and I was in so much resistance to school not starting, and I'm blessed. She's a senior, and so I don't have to do a lot of like manning her school for her, and the parents that do. My heart just goes out to you, but you know, either way, she's good. And I was so worried about her in the beginning and wanting her to start school. And I'm like, you know what? Her experience is her experience.
That's right. Yeah.
And destiny is calling her experience. And I can't control that. And I can't make anything different by being miserable about it. So we may potentially be going back in October. They might be going back in January. And I just don't care.
No, right. I mean, that's it. That's here's another tip right now. Like surrender to what is.
Whatever is meant to be will be, right? And whatever is meant to be is in the perfection of your destiny. And I think that's why this whole thing has never really made a lot of sense to me, because it's like the whole playing God thing. Like we're trying to play God with our own lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to avoid something that may potentially be part of our experience. Like people that have gotten cancer say it's the best thing that ever happened to them because it gave them so much more perspective about life.
Absolutely.
You talk to a lot of people that have had illnesses like that and how it changed the scope of the way they think. So it's like, if you're destined to get something, no staying home is going to keep you safe. Like you're going to get it from somewhere because you were supposed to. And there were lessons and expansion and growth in that. So I thought that came up to me this morning. Like, we can't play God here. Like,
no, it's so true. And that was like when my husband died, you know, and I tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, my husband died when I was 37. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It woke me up to life. And that's, I think, what's happening for a lot of people right now. It's waking them up, and it's very uncomfortable because if you haven't been doing the work and you don't understand like what the bigger picture is here, which again, do I really understand what the bigger picture is? I don't know, but
maybe more than some.
I try to imagine that I do have an idea of what the bigger picture is, at least the idea of just allowing and accepting and not being resistant. I think that's one of the biggest issues, is that by resisting, you just keep creating what you don't want when you resist something.
Exactly.
So
when we
accept,
there's just this allowing, and when we trust that life is bringing to us.
It's happening for you.
All these things are unfolding for your expansion, for your growth, for your process, to build your faith. Like the biggest times my faith has grown have been those times of huge challenge and huge, up levels where, it felt like I didn't know if I could go on, but then that strength comes, that power comes from within, and you realize like, we can do anything. We have infinite potential to create anything. So that's the beauty of life, people.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So what else? How was your weekend? You had a good weekend, I guess.
It was great. My gosh, I don't know what, like, I feel like I've up-leveled in just this whole new way. And
your relationships, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm meeting all these amazing people and getting together and just making all these new friends, and, and I'm enjoying it, and just getting all this attention, which I'm adoring and loving.
A big fan of.
Yeah. So, nothing's, no romantic dates or anything like that, but certainly wonderful new friendships and lots of opportunities to do things. I mean, I've gone all over this island in the last week or two and seen and done things that I have never done. I've been here almost 4 years now. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, I went on this awesome hike out to the end of La Perouse on Saturday morning. And there's some pools down right near the ocean, and so we're sitting there, and it just looks so calm and peaceful. And then all of a sudden, a giant wave comes in, and just like, I'm like, oh my God, we're like scrambling to get out of the way so we don't get sucked into the ocean. But it was exhilarating and scary and fun, and so I've got a really awesome. I did a back bend in that pool, just before a big wave came, and so yeah.
Oh, that's really fun.
But it's fun. It is it's a dangerous island for sure. Like, you got to watch it because you could totally get sucked out to sea.
You got to be awake and aware, I guess, in all aspects of life, right?
Exactly. Oh, there's Thomas. Hey, hi peeps, reaching out. Good idea. For the first time since my interesting roommate, I feel off the edge health-wise. I'm going to be okay. I say over and over again. I'm okay. Please send happy vibes. Love my place and will keep me well. Yes. Happy vibes.
I just started that with, I'm working out with a gym partner, and we've been talking about, he always says, I just want to be skinny. Right. And he is. I mean, he definitely is. He's got, we look and compare ourselves to other people in the gym who have 6% body fat. So I said, listen, we have to change that I want to be skinny thing to I am. I am. So 2 weeks ago, we shifted, and we actually started tracking our food, and we've been very diligent. So in order to create your reality, you may potentially be able to eat whatever you want, like Lisa Jones, and never gain weight.
Exactly. Thank you. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. I'm just gifted that way.
If you're normal like me and you don't really totally believe that, you'll work out like a maniac, and then you'll chart your food. But honestly, tracking my food and working out makes sense to my brain that it's going to work, and it is working. But it's so funny because I'll yell at him in the middle of the gym, and I'll go, do you want to be skinny? And now he says, I I'm skinny. So it's like this,
Awesome.
it's this ignition, this activation, and this realization of I already am.
Yes.
So for Thomas, it's like I am, not I'm gonna be, or I want to be, or any of that stuff. But be really careful, because as we ignite these things, and as we try to connect with them, there's a trying in there, right? A healthy person doesn't get up and say, I am healthy every day. They just are.
They just are. That's a really good point.
Or a wealthy person doesn't get up every day and say, I am wealthy. They just are. So it's about coming from that perspective of, how would I act? How would I feel? How would I conduct myself? How would my conversations go if I already had that? If I already believed in my full-on well-being, my natural state of well-being, which is health and wellness. So, don't work on not being disconnected from it, because it's easy for us to like always be reaching and always be trying. And when we're trying, we're not doing.
Well, and what I love about that too is, I've heard as well, like, don't take the diagnosis of a doctor. Like if they say you have X, when you say, oh, I have X, whatever that is, fill in the blank, diabetes, cancer,
anxiety, panic,
right, whatever it is, as soon as you say, I have cancer, I have this, I have that, it unpacks. It's like a program that goes off in your mind that then creates,
it becomes your identity.
And the more you identify with it, the more it presents itself, the more it wants to prove to you, because the universe is always just wanting to do what you're asking of it. You're programming the universe basically.
Right.
So and I know, as I'm saying this, I'm hearing people say, oh, don't blame the victim. It's, this is you're like, so you're going to tell people that they
gave yourself cancer. No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just,
read Anita Moorjani's book, Dying to Be Me. That book is so fantastic, and how cancer is activated in your experience. And any illness actually is something that we just keep alive through our belief and our
experience. And I always go back to my dad, who, after he passed away because his body shut down, lack of circulation, and he came to me, he woke me up in the middle of the night. I had to go down and get on my computer and start typing his channeled message to me. He's like, oh my God, I now see what I was doing, because he was hoarding money. He would get as much money as he could, and he never wanted to spend it. And he just tried to, get piles and piles of money and be like, oh, look at me, look at how wealthy I am. And then because of lack of circulation, he created that in his physical body. So he went in for an elective surgery and then got an infection. And then his whole body stopped circulating, because that's what he had created in his life. And he said this, like, I'm not making, like, he told me after he passed, he's like, oh my God, I created in my physical body what I was creating in the outside of my body. So take a look at that. I mean, like, what are you doing?
What are you tuning into?
What are you tuning
all
into?
Subjects of your life,
That's
right?
Right. Yeah.
If you're turning the station to your financial station, and every time you get on there, you're miserable, you're scared, you feel like you can't pay your bills, you feel like there's not enough, you don't know where the money's going to come from, that's a station that you're on. If you flip that station off and you flip onto abundance, what do I have that's abundant? What do I have to appreciate? What gifts do I have that I can share with the world? You're going to see that flow of abundance coming into your experience.
It's amazing.
I did a little show for these women that are in this weight loss program. This is so funny. I actually didn't tell you this. So the girl who runs the program, she's 27. She's adorable. And she was telling me that she has just, and it was weird because this thing came up about hating your car, and it just came out of nowhere. And this was like a weight loss thing. And I just said, listen, if you get into your car, every time you get into your car, you hate it.
Yeah.
And it's dirty and you're not taking care of it, then how do you expect the universe to be tuned into a frequency of the car that you love and that you really want to drive?
Exactly. I'm driving around. I hate this car. I hate this car. I want something.
And when I manifested my Mercedes, I was driving an Infiniti, and I was starting to not love it because I was upside down in it, because I felt like it was going to start breaking down, blah, blah, blah. And I started to love it, and I started to take care of it. And that was in a few weeks that I ended up manifesting the Mercedes. So I shared that story with her. After the call, she goes, I can't believe you said that. I've been hating my car. She's like, I've been through so much emotional stuff with this car. I'm not taking care of it. I feel like it has all this yucky energy attached, and I really want a Tesla. And so I said, well, just go test drive one and then like see what happens. Well, she freaking bought one.
What? Oh my God.
Like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on a second. Erase. But funny story, it was only $100 more than the car payment for the car that she was hating.
Wow.
And she would have never known that. She said, I went to the beach. This was crazy. I went to the beach. I test drove it and I sat there. They must let you take these by yourself. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she meditated at the beach. And as she opened her eyes, the clock went to 11:11. And she's had a lot of things happen with 11:11. And I was like, well, that's perfect alignment. And I had just given her my book and totally forgot that on the back cover of my book is a picture of Mike's phone with 11:11. And she's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Her mind is just like, what?
Yeah. So I felt so good. Like at first I was like, oh, what did I do? And then the second thing was like, just trust, you know, just trust.
Well, you didn't do anything. You just flipped the switch. It was like you saying, you know, sorry.
It's like giving people permission to live their dream and to go look and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Like the same thing with my Mercedes. It didn't cost much more than the car I was driving that I wasn't liking, that I was upside down in.
Exactly.
So it's like, just go and start activating the energy towards your dream, because you have no idea the potentials and possibilities and miracles that are going to happen, and I can't even imagine when she gets in that Tesla, like just the energy of abundance and vibration and all of that that's going to come into her life.
That's exactly right. Oh my God. I remember just test driving one about 3 years ago, right when I came on the island, and I have a beautiful Lexus convertible, hardtop convertible, but I test drove the Tesla and I got back in my car. I'm like, this is a piece of shit. You know, like I can't drive this. I love that Tesla, but
I know. I was telling Mike about that, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard once you drive those Teslas, like you don't want to drive."
You do not know. I'm looking at my beautiful white Lexus.
Your car is gorgeous.
I mean, I love it, but I have not had the opportunity to have a plug in the Tesla, so it's not my timing yet to have the Tesla, but I know when it's time to get my next car, that's definitely.
Apparently they're coming out with a battery that's going to have like 1,000,000 hours. This is big new thing.
Good. Well, that's what I'm waiting for. I mean, universe knows I might as well wait for that, because
absolutely. But for now, it's you're happy and you're appreciative.
I love my car so much, and it's been the best thing.
And that's how we activate more goodness, by looking around and saying, what is so good in my life? Because like I said before, the mind is always going to look for problems and challenges. And I realized the other day, I was starting to get down. I was starting to feel that depression energy like last week. And I do think it was probably planetary, as some people say. And I realized, which drives me nuts.
Let's blame it on the planets.
It's planetary, man. It's planetary.
Yeah.
But I realized that as I was getting into that state, there's that momentum. There's that driving into the bad neighborhood. There's getting out of the car, and there's spending time there. And I was like, oh my God, like I have control over this. And what can I do right now? I'm like, oh my God, I could like put music on and make banana muffins and be so excited to be in my kitchen, just cooking and being in the present moment. And sometimes it's just those little tiny things of, wow, I love my house, of wow, I love my flowers outside. Wow, we have these morning glories right now that we planted. Oh my God, like they're just
pretty.
So fantastic.
That's it, right? I mean, it's shifting out of that energy, and first of all, recognizing it, and then and I think the physiology of moving is super good, whether it's putting music on or like you said, walking around, looking, identifying things that are beautiful and that bring you, shifts your attention. Because I feel like for me that that kind of depressive state, like I realize now, it's almost like a blanket that I like to wrap myself in. Kind of feel sorry for myself, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Because then, like you say, once you get out in that neighborhood and you start wandering around, you get lost in there, and then it's hard to get back out. So
totally.
Then really now I'm trying to identify, just as soon as I start to wrap that little, I feel depressed and alone and part of me, like, wait a minute, no, I'm gonna dance. Good idea. I love it.
I was listening to a woman this morning. Her name is Tiffany Jenkins. I really love her. She was an addict. Her story is really cool. I think it's called High Achiever or something. And it was all about her journey out of addiction. And she has a show on YouTube. And she was just saying, that she just owns all of her emotional stuff, but she owns it to the point where she identifies with it. So it's just like, this is who I am. And this is, I'm working on it with therapy and stuff like that.
I love that. That's cool.
it's cool, but it's also like, oh man, there's another choice, you know? It's not like we don't have to like keep this as our baby.
Well, that's true. You can,
you know, like I have to be hurt and I have to take things personally. And somebody had offered her the book, the 4 Agreements. So she was reading some things from the 4 Agreements, which I thought was amazing. So she, you know, obviously she's expanding and she's growing, but I think it's so interesting that we have a society of people that takes this stuff and says, well, you know, I have anxiety and I have panic attacks and I have this baby that's mine and it's who I am.
Right. And, I see. Yeah.
Right. And so we're teaching the meditation process and mind training and separating from that old person. That's your old identity. Like that was created from the past, from your past traumas, from who you believe that you were.
Right.
So when you create that space, you have a different choice. It's like you saying, oh, that's a warm blanket to me. That's my old friend depression. And it's like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I have total fucking control over this right now. And I don't have to be that person. Yeah. Yes, sometimes you want to lay down and be depressed, and that's totally fine. But just realize and recognize
that's what you're doing, right?
You always have a choice, and awareness isn't always going to get you there. It's like you have to get up and you have to do something different.
I love it. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant that she was, taking responsibility for it. There's taking responsibility.
And I love where she is. I'm not saying she's wrong for where.
No. But I get it. Because it's almost like you've gone back, and again, it's like back to the cancer thing. It's like, no, but I do have cancer and I'm going to just stick with this. And I mean, I know lots of people with illnesses that it becomes their identity. I mean, my mom did that. I mean, she literally had like 3 nodules taken out of her breast. And then she was a cancer survivor, and I'm like, Mom, you didn't have chemotherapy. You didn't have radiation. I mean, you literally went in and
just want to be in a club.
Yeah. And she just became her identity. And it really drove me crazy because I'm like, why do you want to identify with that? Like, just be grateful you're healthy, and you don't need that like cloak or that, identify. I don't know. It kind of drove me crazy that she did that. But
it's just bringing the past with you, know, wherever you go. And it's, most people wouldn't even dream of like my experience and what I came from, because I don't share that. I don't need to share that. Every once in a while it'll pop up as a learning thing for people, but I don't like go, I'm a survivor of abuse, like you just.
No, you don't want it to be a story. I had a wonderful new friend invite me over for brunch yesterday. She's a doll. Oh my God. She's moved here from New York, and oh my God, I absolutely love her.
East Coaster. Yeah.
Coaster. Woo! And so, I got there at like 11:30 and I didn't leave till almost 5. I mean, we literally sat outside and just talked, but we talked a lot about that, about like letting go of that old victim story, and not just this is who I am. Like, my husband dying, like it is a part of my story. And I mean, but I teach from there as you teach from your
it's a different vibration when you're teaching and speaking from it, instead of
be like
activating all the pain that came, that was experienced with it. Exactly. It doesn't have to be part of you. No. It's just like the mask thing in my past lives. I'm like, this does not have to be part of my present day experience. I can let all of that stuff go. It's not who I am. Exactly. It's not what I choose. So I was choosing it, right? By allowing panic and feeling like somebody was smothering me. I was allowing that to be in my experience, but I had to, in order to heal from it.
I had to. Yeah, so you have to let that
thank you, mask experience, for giving me that. We can be done now.
That's right. We're ready to move on. Well, I got to get going. I've got 2 calls at 10. I'm not sure how I'm going to accommodate all that, but somehow it's going to work out.
You're going to do it. You're going to split the universe and be in 2 different
I'm going to calm myself, and it's all
right. Well, we love you guys. That was super fun. We love talking to you. Let us know if you need anything.
Okay. Aloha. I'm going to
peace.
Stop the live stream. All right. And so here we are, just wrapping up on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. And if you subscribe and email us at goldynandlisa@gmail.com, that's goldynandlisa@gmail.com, we will send you a
free abundance meditation.
Abundance is our birthright, which has gotten phenomenal reviews and a lot of
totally. And if you're interested in a session, we do it donation based, and we have you anonymous on YouTube, and we just share whatever experience you're going through, and what do you call it? Transcend the energy, transfer the energy.
Transfer the energy. Yeah, we basically transfer energy directly to you, which is so healing and life-changing. So we've had some amazing, I mean, absolutely, from like this woman who thought she was going to die to now she just feels like she rules the world.
So we never did a meditation, but we will do that later on in the week. We're going to pop on and just do one of those
exactly
up levels.
Awesome. Much love. Aloha.
All right. Peace.